Hi guys,
Hey.
Jeroslyn JoVonn, Jeroslyn here, and this is episode 4 of the True Talk podcast that I promised you guys. I'm gonna say try my best to stay consistent and not give up like I normally do. And so it's episode 4. I'm back and I have a special guest co-host with me. She is a native New Yorker like myself, and she is a female boss, a female hustler, an entrepreneur. Shirley, aka I Might Be High, aka X Buttercup on Twitter.
Yeah, those are my main handles. Hello there, world.
All right, so we already know what we're going to talk about. We've got some things we're going to talk about this week, just like some of the trending topics, the things that stand out to us, because you and me are always kind of like talking on Twitter, or at least like each other cares about on Twitter. So I'm gonna start sharing my screen, and we're gonna get into this first topic now. I think this is interesting, and so far, like I have been trying not to talk about Megan Thee Stallion so much, but at the same time, she's trending and she always got something going on. So
yeah,
she recently, yesterday uploaded a photo of her. Well, first she went to the club. Went to the club this past weekend with Asian Doll. That's what we're seeing here. Anybody who has been
right.
you know damn well my computer's slow. But there we go.
Outside.
Club. We know Megan just got and a really bad one because the pictures of yourself,
Yeah, that. Woo.
like, girl, your lace front is lifted, your ears off, you
bloody.
And then you mean to tell me just a few days later, we outside. Okay, so now everybody was criticizing both of them, but particularly Megan, because not only did she go out with Asian Doll, I think the next night she went out with Lala. She was spotted with Lala. Like, she was out in Atlanta going to like strip clubs and sitting down. She was throwing money on the girls sitting down. And then people started to criticize her, claiming that they believe that she's kind of fabricating what she claims that Trey Songz shot her, that she was shot in the foot. We're still unsure of the exact details.
Wait, Tory.
Tory, what I call the Trey Songz? They both canceled right now. They both canceled.
He's on a whole nother canceled boat.
I call him Trey Songz, but you know we're gonna get into Trey's ass too. But so they were at the club, and so people were criticizing Megan so much. This shit is crazy. So much so just yesterday, Megan released this image and caption saying, "What I learned about majority of the people on social media is y'all like to hear bad news or good news. A lie spreads quicker than the truth, and y'all really be believing the shit y'all make up. I got hit at the back of my feet because when I got shot, I was walking away facing the back. Why would I lie about getting shot? Why are y'all so upset that I don't want to be in the bed sad? Why y'all upset that I can walk? I got my stitches out my feet like 2 weeks ago, and I was ready to go celebrate WAP going #1. I usually don't address internet bullshit, but y'all people are so sick. God was really watching over me, and I'm healing so well. Sorry I'm not as sad and miserable as a lot of y'all, but I'ma keep being Megan the motherfucking Stallion."
I love her.
Girl.
I love her.
So then the next day, later that day, then this came out that
the DA
assault charges against Tory. So now let's get into it, girl. We gave them the backstory. I want to know what are your thoughts on Megan going to the club with Asian Doll. Asian Doll going to the club after her debacle, and then now Megan providing the receipts of her injury, people doubting everything. What's your thoughts on this whole story?
I mean, well, I don't want it to sound biased or nothing just because I love Megan. Like, I'm such a huge fan of hers. I just think that if she's feeling better, she can do whatever. Like, there's no reason for her to sit back and cry over her injury and cry. Like, if anything, I feel like her injury is gonna like catapult whatever project she has coming up, because now she has, granted, she's going out, she's partying, she's celebrating, she's young, you know, like she's a hot girl. So you know, it's gonna take more than a bullet to stop her out there. I mean, you know, she's just, I love her. And then Asian, with her, I like the fact that when she had, of course, I'm not happy that she had an accident. That's terrible. Thank God that she's okay. But I really love the fact that Megan literally like took a jet and went there within 24 hours and was just being supportive. Like, who does that? You know, like that's some real, like, we coming together, like we gonna get through this and we're gonna celebrate together. We have our lives, we have our health, like we have our money, like we're just gonna go and celebrate. So I think that she also just had enough with like the people trolling and just trying to say whatever online, because people were getting real disrespectful. Yeah. Especially when she first got shot. Like, I thought it was so terrible, like how people were really just trolling her.
From weirdos I used to work for that are just alleging that she is fake, or not so much that she's faking it, that she's kind of reaching with the shooting incident, or that she put her hands on Tory and that's why he shot her. Like, it's disgusting the things I'm seeing. However, what I will say now, I do understand everything you're saying, and a part of me agrees with everything you're saying, because I'm all about living your best life, being in your truth, making the best out of a situation, just being like, you know, fuck the bullshit. However, at the same time, I don't understand, especially in urban culture, why when we're insinuating that we're living our best life or that it's like, oh, fuck the bullshit, we automatically have to go to the club. I do not understand why just literally Asian Doll got into that car accident, what, Friday? She was at the club literally the next day or 2 days later.
Yeah.
That is crazy to me. Megan, you had bullets, regardless if you was walking away across the street and it hit the back of your foot. You had a bullet in your foot. That picture, let's go back to it. Let's go back to these injuries. That shit is fucking disgusting. Here's the thing. I didn't have been in that situation a month ago and even 2 months ago, and now I'm just at the club because I want to go celebrate WAP being number one. If I'm not fully, do you see Cardi at the club celebrating WAP going number one? It's her song. You want to know why Cardi hasn't been nowhere? Because she's taking this COVID serious, one, because she's a mother, taking the COVID serious, so she's sitting her ass at home with her child and promoting her shit from home. But also, too, I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, I think Cardi's maybe like a year or two older than Megan. She's also a former exotic dancer. Maybe there's more that Cardi got out of her system than Megan. And that's where what I'm saying, what you're saying, I'm still agreeing, because I'm keeping in mind that, okay, I'm in my early 30s. I ain't that old, mofo. I'm in my early 30s.
A young girl.
Okay, I got a lot of things out of my system, so I'm not as tempted during this pandemic to be in the mix, flying over to Atlanta so I could be at the clubs, or going down to Houston so I could be at the clubs, because those areas don't give a shit about this international health pandemic that is real. If I was younger, like Megan's 25 years old, I think Asian Doll, she's like the same age. If I was younger, I can remember that mindset where that is what we did.
Right.
We would be like, if you and your dude break up, fuck that nigga, we at the club, girl. You get fired from your job, fuck
we
that
go
nigga,
to the club.
Yeah. I would say, as someone that's just a little bit older, you're not missing out on anything, and that does not heal you when you're really in pain, whether it's physical, emotional pain, mental pain. Running your ass to the club to spend money. Now Megan and Megan got the money, but I don't think everybody's seen. Now when I'm doing this podcast and when I'm talking about these things, I'm not talking about these things to shit on Megan or whatever. Anything I'm talking about, it's for anybody who watches the show, who chooses to watch the show and allocate their time. I want to give you something. I want to give you some insight. So what I'm saying for anyone who's watching this, and if you are young yourself or you have younger family members or you're in this period of like feeling testy, what I'm saying is that there's nothing at the club that you were missing out on. All those nights in my 20s and late teens, partying and clubbing, half of them I can't remember. And the ones I can't remember, it's little bits and pieces. And again, like there was nothing I was missing out on. If there was, thank God this didn't happen when we were, younger then. But
right.
If it did happen and we had to go kind of a summer of just being a little bit more low key and reserved, there was nothing that we missed. So what I'm saying is when you're a Megan or an Asian or you're going through something serious in your life, you have to understand, I add a spiritual aspect to this show too, because I'm just a spiritual bitch. You got to understand when God sits your ass down, you genuinely have to understand that God will sit you down in a period where he feels that you need to sit down. Right?
Yeah.
So
I agree.
That was the only thing I wanted to say about that, because I want, especially these young girls, this is what they're seeing, and Grace, I defended WAP and the woman empowerment movement last week because I'm all about woman empowerment, but at the same time, I can't doubt the fact that the young girls of this time are being shown something more than we were, and it is, fuck these niggas, get money, go to the club, hot girl, summer, city girls, pussy talk, 100,000 Birkins.
Yeah. Like you can't. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you.
Don't be afraid to just sit your ass down if you're going through something, and take that time to reflect and hone in, and because you get stronger and you get better, and when you come out of it, you're gonna be better than ever. Nothing was stopping Megan from celebrating WAP, especially if Megan, bitch, you could fucking go hop on live and just twerk your ass, or even just have, if somebody's having like a little small get together, have a small get together, but you made the executive decision to go to the strip club while you're lifting, you gotta have them escort you. That's not fly to me.
Right. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when I saw like the little clip of her walking and the bandage on the feet, I was like, oh no, like right away I'm just like, damn girl. But again, that's my girl, so I'm just like, all right, I feel you.
One, she's gorgeous. Two,
yeah,
even though it's like, yeah, she talks about a lot of those things in her songs, like what she overall represents, it's not that. She represents, girl, get your money, educate yourself, elevate yourself, stay prayed up and stuff. So it's like, and Cardi too, like really follow Cardi. Like Cardi loves the fuck out of God, and she talks about it all the time. Like, I respect that. It's like you just have to still be able to weed out everything else to see the truth in the person. And regardless, all I'm saying is that, girl, you're injured right now. There's nothing wrong with sitting down, and I wouldn't want anyone who is looking to them as influencers to get it twisted that, oh, it's okay, I just got out of a car accident, I just need to go to the club to get my mind off things. You don't go to the club to get your mind off things.
Right. If anything, you go to the club for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I mean, no, I definitely used to go back in my little hoe days. If it was a breakup, I was definitely going to the club to try to go meet a new dude. Definitely. Like,
yeah. See, I feel like every time I went to a club, at least here in New York, every time I went to a club, it was always to like creep up on like my friends' mans, like watch them, like what are they doing, or this and that. But then like when I started getting a little bit older, then I started going to Vegas a lot. And then I realized, oh my gosh, the club scene out here is so different. And I literally once I started going club in Vegas, I didn't come back to club in New York. Like the scene is just so different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I was 24, 25, and my priority was whatever. I'm so over New York. I'm going to go to Vegas next weekend just because I want to go to a club. And then now I look back, I'm like, girl, what was you thinking?
But at the same time, like, that's the age. So I get it. That's why at the end of the day,
Right.
Asian, live your best life. Heal up, girl, because it's like,
right.
Your ear looked like it fell off, and Megan, your ankle missing. So,
I know.
Heal up, ladies. But
I know, but again, like I said, I just hope that out of all of this that happens, like I just really hope that the next projects that she comes with is gonna be like better than ever. Like it should. I think if anything, this whole situation should just have her more focused on like, all right, I have a bag now, and I'm gonna get a big bag, and now I'm gonna just have everything else, and nobody could tell me nothing after, you know. But she's a smart girl. She's definitely gonna get there.
Smart, and at the same time too. Oh, this is what I did want to say. The fact that we did see her go out to the club while she was during a pandemic and while she's injured, that is typically something like, first of all, every time when I've gone out during this pandemic or I've shown that I've gone out, if I talk to my mom or my mother-in-law, they're in my ass. What were you doing? Why were you there? Were you sick? Did you wear a mask? So she doesn't have that. And so you have to remember, I've said this before, like this girl is growing up in front of our eyes without her parents.
Without like her main, you know, she lost her father, her mother, and her grandmother. And like the way I see it, like, you know, she had mentioned it before, like, you know, her mom, her granny and her mom really had her during that, you know, that shooting. And I do think that she is spiritually covered. Like, I do think that right now she's like really, she's got God on her back. But I just had you said before, like when God tells you to sit down, you need to sit down. So like, I think after the picture post, I think maybe now she's kind of like, all right, let me chill for a second, you know.
Growing up, and especially if you're growing up in front of everybody, you know, I commend her for releasing those receipts and all of that. Now, just to lightly, because we didn't touch on Tory's ass. He's really about to be facing some charges, and now
Tory's hairline is about to recede all the way back again. That boy's about to be stressed.
When he got this little new hair. And now you done canceled yourself. You became like a popping sensation and canceled yourself all in the same year. And
all in the same pandemic.
One pandemic. Right. It's crazy because the fact that he's not speaking, it allows you to paint more of a narrative. Because it's like, yo, you must be guilty, bruh.
Right.
Nothing. So I can't wait to hear more of what really actually happened. Like I said before, I would like for anyone who wasn't there physically with them in the car when the gun went off to shut the F up and stop coming out with your own narrative because you're mad because she won't give you an interview.
Right.
Moving on. So now we are going to get into nasty ass Trey Songz.
Trey Songz.
Who I was calling Tory Lanez.
Oh, we might as well be Trey Lanez.
Trey Lanez. You know, at least Trey Songz had a longer run than Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez, you was just getting hot, and you done.
Right. No, I mean, yeah, Trey's been around. He was always like the heartthrob, even when I was in middle school or high school. Yeah. You know, so.
Like, Trey Songz came out in 2005. I was still in high school. And he was always just that sexy dude who could sing and make an ugly face, but still look sexy with the ugly face. And then I remember, like, 2008 when I was in college, so you were probably, like, in high school.
Yeah.
That's when he started coming out with those mixtapes, and everybody was playing them throughout my school, and everybody was having sex to them. And he was like,
crazy. Yeah.
So now we're finding out. Okay. So there, I'll go through the little facts. Okay, so we know these two girls, Selena Powell and Eliza, they did an interview with Adam 22. It initially went viral because this girl, Eliza, boldly admitted to sucking off the Phoenix Suns, 7 players of the Phoenix Suns, and swallowing all 7 of their ejaculations. And she did this right after they caught her having sex with someone else. She proudly tells it. So that went viral. Everybody was posting that. Then out of nowhere, this clip comes up the next day like, hold up, y'all. We skipped over to one of the most important parts of the interview where she now admits that she had sex with Trey. One, Trey Songz was keeping her in a hotel.
Hostage.
Stay in this hotel until he decided that she could leave. He would keep her there so she could have sex with him whenever he felt like having sex with her. And so now at one point after they have sex, she's saying she goes to the bathroom to wipe the nut off her face. This is what she says. As she's cleaning Trey Songz's ejaculation off her face, he comes in and he pees in her face. And then she goes on to say that she knows other girls who say the same thing. This is what he does. He's a weirdo. This is all that she's saying in this clip. From there, now it gets deep.
Twitter's been having a field day. A field day with this one. Like, before, we even get into what he's been trying to say, I think that no matter what he says at this point to defend himself is just going to backfire. So I think, to be honest, the safest thing for him is to just get off of the internet, delete, deactivate all of his accounts, do all that, because he's just going to keep getting himself into more trouble, and then we're just going to have more to talk about.
Now, everyone's calling him Trey Kelly. Now, this is what I think it is. So, everybody, you already know the story. She's now putting out all these allegations that she did press charges against him. Lisa Bloom was on it, was actually issuing out, according to this right here, Lisa Bloom said, I'm sorry to hear this. As you may know, I represent another Trey Songz victim, so I'm very familiar with this violent, abusive man. And now, let's not forget that over the past couple of years, we've heard rape allegations against Trey Songz, or sexual assault, or sexual misconduct. That's a normal thing that it's like we'll hear about it and then it kind of just disappears. And Trey Songz keeps on being Trey Songz, and we keep on just kind of approving it. I mean, he started to look dusty, so I haven't checked for Trey Songz the way I used to.
Yeah, me either.
Even remember last summer when he was all up on Megan at some party, and I was just like, everybody was like, Megan, stay away from him.
Girl.
He's Trey Songz is a known lurk at this point. He's a known flirty man.
He's a creep. It's not even a flirt at that point. When I tell you, when I saw him and Megan, there was that one moment where they're in the club and she's twisted. She's gone. And the way that he, you can tell that he's not even drunk. He was probably not even drinking. And because we know those types. We know those guys. It's not hard to spot them in a club. It's not hard at all. And just the way, the way his body language was, and the way his eyes were literally eating her up while she's inebriated. I was from that moment, I was yeah, you're a creep. I can't like you no more.
That's crazy because I felt the same way when I saw how he was looking at her. I was just ew, you're creepy. And so now he comes out and says, I usually stay quiet on this, but I feel that in many ways the movement to fight for the women who actually have suffered harassment and abuse on various levels has been hijacked by those who find it convenient for themselves to come up as they seek to destroy someone's life. Okay, so now he's trying to act like he's taking the high road. He called them birds. I brush it off every time, but once you have an allegation, no matter what's true, waiting the validation is now happened once, whatever. So he's saying birds. Now, we're not gonna weed out that these two girls are birds. They're not acting like they're not birds. They're over there proudly saying this. That doesn't mean that what they're saying is lies. Because now, where was that statement when Kiki said these things?
Oh my gosh.
Where was that
That's exactly what I
when
felt.
Kiki Rexa said some things about you too? So, Trigger Trey. Let's go back to the one that shows his crusty face. Because we need to put a stand.
The little, that one?
A little crusty afro.
Looking like he smells like drool.
Oil on his face. So,
yeah.
Now, what we've seen in recent times, because of the Me Too movement, not everybody is a rapist, right?
Right.
I do believe that there is a difference between a rapist and a sexual predator.
Yeah.
Trey Songz, you're coming off as a sexual predator. If all different women of different kinds of classes, structures, and shapes, you clearly have no bias. I mean, we don't see a whole bunch of big girls coming, but you see, you got white, black, there's all kinds of girls saying that you have come onto them too strong or done something that could be labeled as sexual misconduct. We have scuttled it for years now, but the same instances and reports keep coming out. Now that we're in the age of social media and we're able to converse about things more and bring more things to light, you can't sweep it under the rug like R. Kelly, who was able to do that for 20 plus years.
For so many years.
Trey, it doesn't matter. You need, first of all, if women have lawsuits against him, I do believe that now they have more proof and more evidence in their cases, and it seems like something is coming his way strong. And what I believe in all these instances, when like the Me Too hit someone, because this recently happened with someone I know you heard about, the whole Juice Palooza shit, right? With the boy from this was a couple of months ago, the boy from Juice Palooza, they were saying he's a predator, and all these girls came out with accounts of him not necessarily being a rapist, but sexual predator.
Right, like sexual intimidation or something.
Sexual intimidation, trying to say like he would force them to get involved with him in order to get tickets to Juice Palooza or something. So now we're saying that these things are able to come more to light, and we're able to define it more. And what it seems like with these kind of men, karma is real. And when you go all this time thinking that you're gonna get away with it and never turn your life around to where it's like, yo, I know I violated so many women. Because what we saw with the Surviving R. Kelly documentary is R. Kelly would go through these periods where he's like, remember they would say he would call a priest over. He knew he was fucked up. He knew what he was doing was wrong, and he kept doing it. So now, if this one kind of gets off the hook because these two girls are cum guzzling whores, I would say, and he seems like he has been on a more positive path during this whole Black Lives Matter movement, and now he's a father. But that's not to say that you don't have somebody in a hotel right now.
Right. I mean, because any guy could do that. Like, I mean, you know how they were a little off cycle. There was like the whole Meek Mandela thing, right? And it's like, yeah, he was going off about this. He's a great guy. He's having a whole nother baby. And he just had one. You know what I mean? So it's like, you can make yourself look like this. You can make yourself look like, yeah, I'm all for this. I'm all for the brothers. I'm all for this. Like, we got to support each other. But meanwhile, y'all doing the same stuff that y'all trying to tell people, oh, no, we got to do better. Like, you need to start doing better first. Like, you need therapy. You know?
Everything you just said is fact. Everything. Because at the end of the day, it's a 50 fact. Trey, karma came for your ass. You out here being nasty. And I hope, because at the end of the day, if this is the case, we should be hearing this about more people, right?
Right.
More about Drake. Drake be out here fucking about. We should hear more about Meek Mill. He's out here slinging dick, right? Why don't we hear about Meek Mill having girls in hotel rooms or saying that he peed on them? Why don't we hear this about Drake? Why don't we hear this about who else are some rappers that they be out here slinging dick? French Montana. Because even though they're freaky dudes and they out here slinging dick, they're not out here violating women.
That's the thing, yeah. And then on top of that, I'm sure, like, I feel, me personally, I mean, I don't know Drake. I've never met Drake. I would love to. So Drake, if you're watching, holla at me. I personally think that some people like Drake would be smart enough, though, to be like, all right, you know what? Let me hit up this shorty. She might be from Instagram. She might be from whatever. But I'm going to be a little bit smarter. And if she really want to come with me, I'm going to test her, like, on some... If she posts a screenshot, I know she's a no-go. You know what I mean? Or who knows, maybe have like non-disclosure agreements. I know there's a lot of that, you know, especially people in like Hollywood and A-listers, like I know they be doing that for facts, you know?
So, and no shade, because whatever, this girl is who she is, and, you know.
Famously, she's who she is.
You, like, she's loose with it.
Yeah.
She's clearly loose with it. Like, she's proudly putting her business out there.
Right.
Trey Songz, you fucking around with girls like that?
And like, it's like, she's famously messy. So I don't understand how, like, rappers, basketball players, like, all these people still get caught up with the same girl. It's always the same chick.
Girl, she done had,
you know, Offset, like... You know, who else? Like she's, and it's not gonna stop, because I think, I mean, I don't know how it is in LA.
Well, one, yo, dudes really ain't shit, because this girl had one of the nastiest, like, as I was watching the interview, I was like, oh, I just want to go brush my teeth. But I feel like I have cum in my mouth listening to this girl talk. And
yeah, I was like, oh, I can't.
I thought she was at 21,000 followers on Instagram. By that evening, she was at 32,000 followers. And it just continues to go up. Her OnlyFans is lit right now. She's making mad bread.
I'm sure.
Like it. To me, you like it. If you hear a girl say that she sucked 7 penises and swallowed the cum, and you start following her and subscribing to her, or trying to link up with her, if you're like a famous person, a rapper or something, here's the stuff.
Right. But I also feel like there's this complex, though, with like all these celebrities and stuff, because, you know, there's always that running joke of like, everybody in LA, they fuck around with the same, I mean, they mess around with the same 4 girls, like, you know what I'm saying? I think it's like that complex of like, oh, he had her, I got more money than him, I can have her too. Oh, he had her, I'm gonna have her too. Ha, look, I had your girl. Like, I really think it's just like this whole ego thing, and then when they get caught, then it's like a backtrack, like oh, I learned I'm better than that, like this and that, you know, like it's just like a whole complex. All these men need therapy, that they just need therapy. And they need God.
So moving on, we'll get into this one. I saw you and I, we were like, almost interesting to me to find out that CyHi Da Prynce is Travis Scott's.
Well, he's not really a ghostwriter. I mean, because he's credited.
Yeah. Right.
You know, I just think it's a lot of younger millennials, like, they're very quick to be like, all right, like, they're very quick to take information without really looking into it, you know? So, which is why a lot of things get, like, all mixed up.
Yeah, because there's a difference between a ghostwriter and an actual writer. You know, a ghostwriter is just that. It's a ghostwriter, so you won't even necessarily know that they wrote the song. You won't see their names on the track. A writer, a co-writer for a song, you'll see they're listed, they get their credit. CyHi has never come out and said, you know, oh, I didn't get credit for this. Like, clearly CyHi is eating. And he's doing very well. You know, he's super close with Kanye. He writes a lot for Kanye. Now it's coming out that he single-handedly wrote most of Astroworld, which is a super successful album. It was that number one on the charts for weeks. And multiple songs were on the Billboard charts. And if he wrote those songs, he gets paid. Now, I wanted to talk about this because as a fan of CyHi, his last album was so good. And nobody paid it any mind. And I'm always just like, that album, and what was the other one that I used to, Jadakiss, top 5 Dead or Alive. I'm like, nobody be giving these albums or these rappers enough credit as they deserve. And when you're seeing now that Travis Scott doesn't write his songs, the beats he does, he is a good producer. They're not completely original.
Right.
What does Travis Scott do then? That was my question.
You know, I used to think the same thing about Travis. Because when he was coming up, I used to go to a lot of his shows. I can't even count how many. Like, I've gone to so many. And I used to be so surprised because I would go and you know, in New York, there's really not that many, like, underground places or, like, there's not that many cool places to perform like that anymore. And he would just do, like, these shows at, like, the piers and stuff. And it would be nothing but all these, like young white skater kids or, like, this whole demographic. And I used to be like, yeah, how do y'all know that? Like, what? You know, I think he's really good at pulling in that culture, like, and like bringing it in and stuff, like business wise. I think that's like really what it is, like his style and all this. Cause I just feel like, I don't know, like these young, I mean, especially in the neighborhoods where I work at and stuff, like I see all these kids and they're heavily influenced by Travis Scott. Like just the way that they wear, the way that they wear their clothes, the way that they speak, the way that they walk even. And I'm just like, okay, like I see you kids, like, you know, but I would have never thought that of anybody else. I think he's good as an influencer.
I would just say that when you have somebody like a Travis Scott and then you find these things out, I would hope that you at least would do more diligence to support the people that are helping to support him become who he is. Because there are a lot of people behind the scenes that work hard to put together this image that you're falling in love with, and they might be coming out with stuff too. You know, I'm a battle rap fan, and you think about all these people that are actual lyricists that cannot make a hit record to save them, but they can make it for somebody else.
Right.
Easy.
Right.
So this person, Travis got the good studio. He knows how to produce, so he can put the beat together, do his auto tune, and you love it. But if CyHi would have came out with the same exact song,
they would have been hating.
No, well, nobody would have paid it any mind because that's his album. They didn't pay his album no mind, and I'm like, that album is good, just too special. So I hope that people are just taking some time to go through his library. You know,
yeah, because I mean, and he's done a lot of work with Kanye. I mean, he even said it himself. He said he did about like 80% of Watch the Throne, and Watch the Throne, that is easily a classic. That is a classic. Like, if we could go back to any time in music history, a lot of people would be like, watch that era of Watch the Throne. Just that summer, just that whole vibe was
so much fun.
It's it's classic. Like, you hear it now and you're like take me back. But that's how good he is, you know. And then he worked with a lot of artists associated with good music too, and he's credited, you know. I mean, I think maybe he mentioned, like, in the early days with Kanye, he may have not gotten credit for some things, but he said it himself, like, it was more that it was like he didn't feel like he needed to be credited.
Right.
But it's kind of tying into that whole saying of, like, if you love what you do, it's never work.
Exactly. Because that's what I wanted to touch on. Like, it's good to see the CyHi and even see him getting some recognition for all the work he did with Travis Scott and Kanye, because not everybody is meant to be Travis Scott. Not everybody is meant to be Drake, and not everybody is meant to be Kanye. But that doesn't mean that you're not talented, and that doesn't mean that there's not a place for you.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that we would see more people that are behind the scenes getting highlighted for the younger generation who have aspirations of whether working in entertainment or music.
Yeah.
Because you'll grow up forever like, I want to be LeBron, I want to be Drake. But it's like, you're not knowing that there's a CyHi behind the scenes, or there's a Maverick behind the scenes, that it's like they're getting the bag too. They're living just as good. And honestly, they probably are living better because nobody really knows who they are. So they can actually go to the grocery store, go out with some friends, step outside, and people won't recognize them and hound them down or put a camera in front of their face and record what they're doing. You know, to me, it's more of a quality life than someone who's super, super famous and everything you do is people.
It's watched. Yeah, like everything you do, somebody's watching, or it's like all eyes on you at all times. Exactly. You know, so like I think it's a good. I mean, I do understand what you're saying. Like, I think Travis could have literally just been like, oh, on Twitter, like, hey, my guy CyHi, he has a album out. Like, you know, check it out. Really, that's all it takes these days is one tweet, like one interaction. That's all it takes, you know. But like when you don't see it, it's kind of like, all right, I see you.
And what you say in that point, and then it's like you're thinking back of even with like Drake and Quentin Miller, like, bro, like you're already the superstar. They're not. They had to give you a hit. They had to give you a hit. Why can't you show love when they come out with something? At least because you have all the following, and at least it'll just help them get some streams, put some more money in their pocket. Are you intimidated because you know that they're more talented than you? It doesn't matter. Clearly, now we see talent doesn't matter. You got all these battle rappers here getting like 1,000 to 5,000 for a battle, and they're better than probably every rapper on the chart.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like I think now the focus, especially, it's not even music anymore. The focus is, can you sell the image, right? Like 90% of these rappers, these chains that they wear, they're not even real. You know, it's like, oh, I dropped 100,000 on this, 200,000 on that. Like, no, baby, you got that on Shop GLD. That's not real. Like, you know, it's shiny, it looks good, but they're selling the image, you know, because they're now like, and it's so crazy. It's like the whole marketing, the whole corporate way that music works these days. It's scary. It's scary because people who do have talent, who can actually be like, oh, I want to be a singer, or I want to be a songwriter or something. It's like there's so many gatekeepers that will literally be like, I'm not feeling your image. I'm not feeling this.
Really,
and
like,
that's it.
And like even now with my fiance, he's doing like, you know, a lot of good productions. So he's working with people and like learning more about the inside. And it really, really does come down to that marketing team who are making decisions on who's going to be the next big thing, or if you're worth investing into being the next big thing. Like now, what they're saying is, you don't, you know, like we're in a pandemic, so don't like look like everybody else. Don't try to dress super fancy and stuff.
Right.
People are struggling right now, so try to look relatable. It's all marketing.
Right. Yeah.
Shit up. Eat it up, not even realizing that it's a whole team putting it together so that you can eat it up.
Yep. So you can hit that like button and then hit that link and shop and wear the same outfit or whatever. Like, it's crazy. Yeah. Like,
but I'm glad that this came out, and I'm at least glad that people are talking about him, because clearly I'm a fan. But now let's get into Chris Brown.
Oh gosh.
Chris Brown got a new chain that he showed on Instagram today. Was it today?
I think so. It was today. I think so.
He made sure to disable those comments, as you can see. And if you zoom in, where's my little zoom in option? You can see that it is, what is that?
It's a little razor blade, a gold little razor blade.
Yes. Oh, here we go. Yeah, now I want to super zoom in.
And it looks like diamond residue.
Yes. You know what it looks like? It looks like cocaine. I want to just go to the version of it that I saw that I had to post, because I just like this super hilarious. When somebody is doing cocaine and they're just and for
that's the one I saw too.
This rumor has followed Chris Brown for a long time.
Very long time.
There's stuff like, if you go digging, you'll find it. There are videos of Chris Brown at the club, and then you'll see him really fast, kind of go like
Right.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear nobody out because it's like I live in LA, and
I mean, I feel like
I know people who know people who have said that Chris Brown has openly talked about doing cocaine because he has like anxiety or ADD or something like that. Like he said that.
which, I mean, that on its own is really kind of, it doesn't make sense because when you do, I feel like when people do partake in ingesting the cocaina, I feel like it enhances their anxiety, and I feel like it enhances their ADHD or whatever because they're jittery. They can't stay in one place. They need to do things. You know, they call, what is it, the booger sugar, like, and it's, you know, it's a reason why people tend to do it in like clubs and like raves and things like that, because you're gonna be moving around. You don't want to stay. It's not like you're gonna do it and read a book.
You've never, now think about it, because it's like we have made it through the 80s, 70s, the 90s. You have never seen a celebrity kind of boldly promote their cocaine use in this fashion. Not Bobby, not Whitney, not Ozzy Osbourne.
And he's still kicking.
All the rockers from the 80s, they all, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, yeah. This is a very bold move. The fact that he posted this and turned off the comments says a lot.
Right. I kind of like, I can't help but notice like how it's engraved and it says tough crowd. So like when I saw the engraving, it kind of made me a little bit sad because I'm like, you're going through something. And like,
well, I think that's the designer, no? That's what it says.
Oh, is it? I don't know. Was it? Oh, okay, because I thought it was just like a regular. Oh, okay, yeah. It is the brand. Because I was just like, the first time I saw the picture, like I didn't see it on his page. Actually, I saw it like on Twitter. So when I saw it, I was like, I didn't know about the brand, and I was just like, oh, like that's kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because it almost looks like a play on the design as like a, like here I am. This is what I'm doing. And it's because there's a tough crowd and this is my crutch, like, you know, so that it made me sad for a second and then it didn't.
I mean, it makes me sad because I don't look at this as a cry for help, but I still look at it as like somebody who's lost in a way. And, you know, when you're lost, you don't know you're lost.
Right.
You don't see it. And then you have so much money and power and can do whatever you want. So it's like, it'll take a lot more for him to ever get out of that
life. Like,
yeah, because, you know, shit, Bobby Brown, I feel like Bobby Brown just stopped using cocaine. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
It takes some time. That video of Bobby Brown dropping his cocaine while he's performing and picking it up. Oof. Brown, don't let that be you. I know y'all got the same last name, but listen.
Right.
Something with the last name Brown. I don't know.
I mean,
Bobby Brown, Chris Brown. Something with the last name Brown. But I just thought this was really interesting, and you know, you didn't see a lot of people post it, but it's like, hello, did y'all see this?
Yeah, it's like, how did we just miss that? And then, like, in a way, it's like, you know, we all knew that he's been like geeked up. Like, it's not a secret.
But it's like, if you look at like the state of like even what's happened with him, like relationship wise and stuff, it's like, yo, like this might be a part of what's happening. Like you fucked up like your good relationship with Gucci, and maybe you're fucking on coke.
Right. And like, because then you got to think about it also too, like all the relationships that he has been in publicly or whatever, like there's been comments or there's been little allegations of like he's crazy, like he's abused, like I don't want to say full on abusive, you know, but I always feel bad. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to talk about because like people always bring up like the whole Rihanna situation, but like even way after that, you know what I mean? Like with Karuchi or like,
who had said that she was hanging out with him, and he came at her like he was really gonna put his hands on her, and there were other people.
Right.
So it kind of just escalated. But she said no, he was like really coming up in my face.
Right.
He would put his hands on me, and she's like, I just didn't even understand how he could just get that angry out of nowhere. Cocaine.
Right. I mean, you know, allegedly cocaine.
Allegedly, but I mean, Chris Brown, you putting it out there, so.
Right.
No.
I mean, because I've heard of some alleged stories, you know, about some of the girls out here in New York too. Like, and this was way back in the day too, not even like that recent or anything. But it's like when you look back and you piece all these little tidbits, these little information together, it's like, well, this could be the source, you know, of like all these problems.
Mm-hmm. I mean, ask Bobby. I keep saying ask Bobby. So let's move on to this one. This one I found
That sweet and delete.
In a tweet and delete paper magazine.
Messy, messy, messy.
For number one, it says some whores in this house and some whores on the charts.
On the charts.
Clearly, it was trying to be a play on words to the song.
Right. But it was just
it was
they dropped it.
Whoever was in charge of this, they probably lost their job.
I mean, I hope so.
It just wasn't smart, but at the same time, now it goes into that topic of, is this what Cardi and Megan are promoting? When you put things like this out, this is what you get back.
Right.
You know the whole lyrics of the song and everything. Do you think this is what it warrants?
See, it's hard because I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard the song, I didn't feel it. I like Meg's parts, you know, because I just like the way that she rides on the beat. But I was just like, you know, it took me sitting in like a room with the radio just on and it playing literally like every 20 minutes for me to finally be like, all right, I got this. Like, all right, cool. But then it, you know, it does sync with me and I'm just like, I don't relate to this, you know, like I'm all for like that empowerment. Do what you want to do. Don't let nobody criticize you. Like, don't let things stop you. If you want to have a one night stand with a guy, go ahead, do it. You know, like, I don't really care. Like, do what you want to do. But like, it just makes me a little bit sad because like I have younger cousins and like the girls, they fall into that now and they're from the Bronx too. So it's like for them, they take it a little bit more as like well, Cardi did it and she's from my hood. So I could do it too. I could do the same exact things that she did. I could talk about the same things that she did. I can live the same way that she did. And who knows, I can get up there. But it's hard to tell a 17-year-old, no, like you're not her. You know what I mean? Like you don't know what she had to go through to get there, to be able to talk about these things. Like we don't know. Right. With Meg, I think for her it was just a good opportunity to collaborate with another high up rapper. Because she shows us that she loves collaborating with other women and she wants to make sure that the game recognizes women and women in hip hop especially. But I do think that we can compare it to like 90s, like raunchy, like Lil' Kim, you know, because she was the OG talking about all these, you know, at least as far as I can remember, because I'm younger, a little bit younger. But you know, I like it now, you know, but like I said before, like I didn't feel it.
I was listening to the song again this weekend, riding in the car with my sister. And when if you're with your girls, or even if you're just in a vibe and this song plays, and it's not even so much like the hook of it. There's some hoes in it. Well, I thought they always said hoes. I didn't know it was hoes. But I always thought there's some hoes in this house. So
I thought it was hoes, yeah.
When that first come on, I'm not gonna lie, it does rub me the wrong way because I don't really. Even when that song would come on in the club back in the day, that's a song that if the girls, you're gonna get off the dance floor because you don't want that. It's like if a tip drill comes on or Ludacris hoes, you get off the dance floor because you don't want to be represented in that our Cameron, suck it or not. You know the dude is gonna start being disrespectful, and it's like, I'm not on that. And so it's like you fall back. So now you got girls kind of, to me, I feel like reclaiming it by coming out with the song, whatever, with that as the hook. I don't like that part, but when you're actually listening to their verses, like, yo, they went the fuck off. And I love it because it's female rappers. I've always been a fan of female rappers. I have loved when female rappers get more shine. I love that female rappers are on the top of the charts because it's like hip hop, one is it's still such a young music genre that it has ways to go. And especially because it's a male dominated genre, females in this industry genre of music have ways to go. So I love seeing what Megan and Cardi did with this song. Like, I love it. And to me, if you look at all of their songs, every Cardi song wasn't talking about her wet ass pussy, and Megan either. So
like, it's okay for us to have one.
The whole library of things. To me, though, what I'm gonna say, it always comes back to woman empowerment. It really just sucks that a woman can't ever really do anything that really is just all about her sexuality without, you know, being called a whore.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's why I wish whoever made the beat, there was another way you could have found, because the beat is the beat. I don't know why they had the whole Poison House. It's fine, but it's like, it does bring down, because I didn't have a problem. I don't have a problem with wet ass pussy. It's the whole, there's some whores in this house that goes throughout the whole damn song. The whole song, it's like yo, you're calling yourself whores, and you're saying certified free every day a week, and it's like, yeah, but in the background it's saying there's some whores in this house, so you're saying that you're a whore. I'm not no motherfucking whore. I'm a freak ass bitch, but I'm not no whore.
Yeah, like, there's a difference, you know what I mean? Like,
so it's like, I do think that should have just put a little bit more thought into that. And when you are allowing someone or something to refer to you as a whore, this is what happens. Because you got a little white girl running the social media at Paper Magazine, and she's trying to be cute to get likes and retweets, and this is what she puts out, and she called both of y'all whores. And now she lost now she lost her job. Anything else you wanted to add on this, or are we good?
I don't know. I mean, I did like the video. Oh my god, I'm so lame.
You good over there, girl?
Yeah. It's my little tablet here. Yeah. Yeah, I think whoever tweeted that definitely deserves to, like, have lost a job, or at least be put on, like, desk duty.
Yeah, because it happens too. You know, the companies they put these young people in charge of their social media, because, you know, they don't know. And your job to stay trendy and relevant, but, you know, you still gotta be smart about it too. All right, so now we'll just lightly touch on, girl, I was having a heart attack today because they was about to shut down Uber and Lyft, girl. And I am a New York-ass New Yorker living in LA. That means I do not have a driver's license. And I depend on Uber and Lyft to get me around because it's also a pandemic. I have taken public transportation in LA before, but even just the other day I took the bus, and I said I'm not ever taking the bus again while it's like this, because it's too crowded, it's too many people, you know, you can't control if somebody sits next to you, so you know, and it's not safe right now. And then in addition to that, LA, you know, this is in the whole California, but LA is also very supportive and embracing of homelessness. And the homeless people here, a lot of it, even what you see, it's clearly a mental health issue, and it's drugs. These people are all over the place. They're all on the trains. They're all in the streets. So at certain times, in certain places, it's not even safe to take the train over here. And since I've moved here, I always make sure I am not on a train or getting off of a bus after the sunset. Even in my area, if I'm going anywhere and it's nighttime, I make sure that I'm just going straight. I'm outside of my house. I make sure that I'm walking right into my Uber or Lyft, or once I get out the Uber or Lyft, I'm walking right into my house. I have been down the block and the sun set, and then I'm coming back home, and a nasty ass man tries to come. He didn't attack me, but he was following me. But because I'm such a New York ass bitch, I felt that shit.
Right.
At his ass and cursed him out so bad, and like I caused the scene, so he just got nervous and went away. But that is a constant basis. There's homeless people all over the place. This is not the safest area to take away somebody having an affordable way of getting home and a safe way of getting home. So this really bothered me. But praise be to Jesus. They at least are going to work it out without shutting down Uber and Lyft.
Okay, thank goodness, because I had no idea that was even like a thing.
I had been hearing about it. Lyft sent us something. Lyft is the first one that sent us an alert. Okay, first, what I'll say, since this pandemic, I have noticed that the prices of Uber went up in LA.
Crazy.
And granted, I used to always brag. When I first moved to LA, I used to brag. And everybody's like, how you in LA and you don't have a car? I'm like, girl, you don't need a car over here. Like, and Uber is mad cheap, and this was still back in the Uber pool days. I was Uber pool queen. I would be right up in there with two strangers I didn't know, paying my little $5, $6. Sometimes I can remember paying $3, $4.
What?
Now, granted, I'm not going super, super far, but let's say I'm going to Venice or Santa Monica Beach. I live downtown. Venice to Santa Monica from where I live, that's like with traffic, that's an hour.
Wow.
Without traffic, it's like 30 minutes. Girl, a Uber pool, I would pay $10.
What?
$10. And I would realize, because, I'm from New York, so I go back to New York frequently. When I would go back to New York, I would be like, oh my gosh, I can't afford an Uber. It's too expensive. So I would brag about how cheap and affordable Uber and Lyft was in LA. So now, since the pandemic started, I noticed Uber started getting more expensive. And I'm like, that's funny. So I started using Lyft more. And you see me, you follow me on Twitter, I'm over there tweeting Uber. Why is it so expensive? What's going on?
Yeah.
Come to find out, it's not even Uber's fault. It's the damn California government out here trying to shut down Uber and Lyft because they're trying to force them to make, first of all, they've done this across the board. They have now, you cannot be like a freelance worker in California. You have to be an employee. You have to get paid on like a 1099. Like even with my man, he works in video production. They would just either write them checks, sometimes just pay them right there. Now they have to take taxes out. Now,
that's true.
Because think about it, when you're an employee, you got to take taxes out for unemployment, state insurance, da 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 da. But when you're an independent contractor, nobody can touch your money until you.
Right.
When you go file your taxes the next year, and you got to claim this and report that and all that shit.
Right.
So now Uber and Lyft run California. So you don't think that the government is going to try to figure out a way to get their money?
Right, because they like that's
you got all these people out here, especially what kills me too about these Californians. Like they swear they're woke. They swear, I'm voting no on Prop 22. So now you got Prop 22, which is basically a law to try to keep Uber and Lyft drivers still as independent contractors. When you look at the statistics, majority of the Uber and Lyft drivers support Prop 22. They do not want to be employees. California is trying to force that onto these freelancers. I recently had a job. The company I was working for, we would hire freelance writers. Once the law went into place, we had to let go of all of our freelance writers in California.
Wow.
You're now cutting off people's sources of income. These people I even freelance. I don't want to be an employee. Why are you not forcing me to be an employee? Why are you forcing me to have to get taxes taken out of my check? That's what it comes down to. And so for anybody out here, because I know you're like, I'm in New York, but I'm ranting to these Californians. So if you look at Twitter, if you even look up Prop 22 or Uber and Lyft, you'll see all these people who probably drive cars, who probably have their own transportation resources. You don't even use Uber and Lyft, and they're like, Uber and Lyft are threatening to shut down because they don't want to make their workers employees and pay them decent wages. excuse me, bitch, do you know how many fucking Teslas I've got inside that was my Uber? They're good. I had one driver that showed me he made $2,000 within like a day and a half.
That's crazy.
They're good.
They be hustling.
Good, you would see them. They wouldn't even be driving Uber. Hello, they're not forced to. They wouldn't be driving Uber. They would be out here picketing and protesting and rioting, saying, "Oh, shut down Uber and Lyft. They're not giving wages." You're now forcing employment on them, and then because you think you're woke, oh, California needs to, Uber and Lyft needs to make them employees. Shut up. Now, you're affecting my transportation. You're affecting my pockets. That the prices are going to go up. So now this is what started happening with Uber recently. I don't even know if they're doing this in New York. They're doing it in California. If you request an Uber, now the wait times are longer. So say I'm actually going just a little downtown. Like I'm already downtown, but if I want to go more downtown, like into the actual city with the buildings, you can't see it from where the computer is, but I'm looking at the skyline of downtown LA. So for me, downtown, literally it's like a 5-minute ride, sometimes 8 minutes, 10 minutes with traffic. I'm right here. So that Uber typically used to cost me like $5.
$5. Now it's like 10, 12.
Girl, now Uber, you're waiting for, when they're connecting you to a driver. So while they're connecting you with a driver, you'll get an alert that says, this ride is available for a higher price. Girl, they're trying to charge you $52, $60.
Nah. $35.
I'm like, what?
That's insane.
Because what they're saying, and now I guess I can kind of understand that they're saying that if these drivers are independent contractors, they should be able to decide their own rate. Uber shouldn't be able to set the rate and tell them that this is how much it is to get to this place. But then this is what happened to us. You're trying to charge me $50 to go down the block. That's insane. Not even if it was $95 and I had to call 666-6666 and they charged me $50 to go down the block. So they're wilding until y'all can figure it out. Keep it the way it is, because honestly, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's not
right.
So state to state right now, and not delete my Uber app. I could go. I travel frequently. I go to Houston. I go to Atlanta. I constantly stay in New York. I go to DC. Uber is there. Lyft is there. Why is California trying to affect that? Calm your ass down. And if you have time, shut the fuck up.
See, it's the same thing like over here. Like it's always people who, for example, like when the MTA wants to raise their prices. It's not like their service is getting better. It's not like the trains are getting cleaner. It's not like anything is getting really fixed, right? Because even with the pandemic, they've been closing the train from like 12 or like 1 o'clock to 5 a.m., right? Why is it that even with the train being closed like that, that should be enough time for y'all to fix whatever has to be done? They have workers 24/7. Why is it that still every day, even when nobody was riding the trains, I was still getting alerts? 5 train going through delays, expect wait times to be over an hour. Like, excuse me?
You got like, nobody's on the train.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you talking about? And then the same thing here. Like, the Ubers, they did get really expensive. Like, I used to pay from here to my house, it used to only be like $17. And then literally, like, during the pandemic, I tried to take a ride to work one time. It's only it's like a 15-minute ride with no traffic, like 25-30 with traffic. The first time that I took it in the pandemic, they charged me $32. And I'm like, what? And I paid it because I was so late to work. And I'm like, whatever, like, I'm just going to go. But it was really annoying. And then I stopped taking Uber. I started taking Lyft. Then Lyft and Uber, then their prices over here are like toe and toe. Like, the only difference is a couple cents. And it's like, oh, crap. Like, I might as well just find a friend who could drive me.
They have money to have lobbyists to now go and try to force Uber and Lyft to make them employees, so that now people start taking these taxis again. because they're unionized and they're mad that their businesses is being affected. But the last time I haven't been to New York since the holidays because of everything that went down. But that's when I made the executive decision. I said I was like, I'm never going to move back to New York because the way that it is a system in New York City to keep the working class person down. Not only even down, but angry and upset. I was staying, when I first got there, I was staying at a hotel in downtown Brooklyn. My parents,
area.
I love Brooklyn. My parents live in Ozone Park, right? They live on the first stop in Queens on the A train.
Okay.
So you know the A train is express, so it's not bad, and they're not. That means that they're also not that far from Brooklyn. It's really they're connected.
It's really quick, yeah.
When I could walk from their house, I could walk to Brooklyn because they're literally that part.
Yeah.
So I'm going from downtown Brooklyn to like another section of Brooklyn. The Uber and Lyft was too expensive. It was also during rush hour. They were trying to charge me like $50, $60 just for a ride that would have probably taken 20 to 30 minutes. And that was only because of traffic. Without traffic, I would have probably got there in 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
So they're trying to charge me $50, $60. I'm like, yo, the ride share prices in New York are ridiculous.
Crazy. It's crazy.
But remember, it's rush hour. I'm a traveler at this time now, so I have a big ass suitcase with me. And as soon as I get down, I'm at Fulton Street. As soon as I get down there, we are experiencing train delays. So the first train that comes is packed. Only put the sleeve on there. And only New Yorkers know this. So now the second train comes, and at this point, it's now, they're taking so long to come. It's like, I'm not fucking waiting here. I'm squeezing my on this train with this fucking suitcase the same way she is with her whole ass baby stroller. Now we packed up on this train. Everybody's pissed at me because I got this big ass suitcase. So
that's the worst.
A fight, girl. People are about to fight, but I at the same time, it's like I still got that very New York resting bitch face. Like,
yeah,
you don't want to. So
I feel like that never goes away.
Saying anything to me, but they were angry. But at the same time, are you really angry at me? Or are you angry that, one, you're coming home from a job you don't even really care for, that doesn't even really pay you enough to afford your rent, and now you're on this crowded ass train to get home that you don't really care for? And the reason why you take this train to this last fucking stop is because you can't even afford to live in this quick part of Manhattan and early Brooklyn.
Right.
Work has set us up to fail. I was like, oh, I'm done.
Girl, let me tell you, this pandemic has gotten me to realize that, like, New York is not made for us. Like, my parents immigrated here and they've always been here. I was born here, but like, it's not meant for me. Like, as much as I don't want to leave New York for nothing, like, I love being from Brooklyn. I love being able to be like, yeah, I'm from New York. Like, come on, these are my streets. Like, I walk around this neighborhood, everybody knows me. Like, I feel like Mr. Rogers, and I love it. Like, I love the community. I love all that stuff. But this pandemic really got me to like, yo, right now, the neighborhood where I'm at, this is, I'm in Brooklyn Heights right now. So like, this is one of the most expensive neighborhoods in New York, especially in Brooklyn. And like, it's empty. Everybody who's here, they're out in the Hamptons in their beach houses. They're upstate in their upstate home in Connecticut or whatever. And all the people who like here, the people who work here, like me, it's like, all right, like I have to wait on you guys to come back so that my business could continue. But at the same time, it's like, maybe this is not for me no more. Like maybe it's time to go because things are getting expensive. I had to move during the pandemic because my rent was just too expensive for what I had. I had a studio and it was like $1,300. Not worth it. I mean, I did love my little apartment because it was my first apartment for myself. And then I went from is another good neighborhood. I was in Bay Ridge and I went to Harlem just because I had a better deal down there. Not that I don't like Harlem. It's just a totally different vibe. You know what I mean? Like where in Bay Ridge, I had no problem. I would come home from a club 3, 4, 5 in the morning. I would have the Uber drop me off in front of my building, and me and Heels like, oh, before I go in, let me go get a sandwich at the deli, and like I'll be by myself, no worries. Harlem, I can't do that. I mean, I can because nobody's gonna touch me. Nobody, like, I'm from New York, you know, we could fight, but it's just that feeling of, especially now with the pandemic, these people are not getting unemployment no more. People still lost their jobs. People are getting evicted left and right. There's a whole mass exodus in New York City right now. The city's empty. Everything is dead, except for like the uptown areas, because it's affordable still for now. And it's just frustrating because it's like you don't want to have to leave, but the way that the city is doing things, they're making it impossible for you to stay, and they're making it impossible for you to want to continue to be here and work.
A recent article that said that there's 13,000 empty apartments in Manhattan.
Yep. And it's only going up every day.
Right at that Skyview or Harlem that they kicked us out around the corner from. I was living on 118th and 5th. They got us up out of there. There was a Skyview of Harlem of the new high-rise. Majority of those apartments were empty. Nobody could afford to live there.
No.
They're not going to let you move in affordably.
That's the problem. And so there's a lot of articles floating around in like the New York Times, New York Post, talking about, oh, this is a great time for renters. I said, where? Because you go on apartments.com, these apartments are still expensive. Wow. I saw like a really nice, it was a 1-bedroom. It was huge. It had a nice view, $3,000 a month in Harlem. I was like, no. I was like, I don't know who you think lived here before or who you think is gonna come live here. Everybody's leaving.
Afford that. Who do you live here? Who's making, like, are you paying me? Am I getting paid $5,000 a month?
And that's my thing too, is that like a lot of the jobs here, like, I mean, I haven't worked like a job for somebody else in so long that like, when I think about it now of like, let's say I drop everything, like all my businesses, if I drop everything here and I go somewhere, I think about it all the time. Where would I want to work? Who would I want to work for? And I look at the details and I'm like, I won't want to work for nobody because they're not paying anybody enough. It doesn't matter what it is. Unless you're like a super genius that you're going to create like a brand new app that's going to literally save the world, you're not going nowhere. Like where the best you can get here is like minimum wage. Sure, minimum wage is $15 an hour in certain places. Most places are still like $12 or whatever. But where am I going with that? After taxes, you're not going to get paid until you're going to get paid every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, you might see your check might say like $1,400 or like $1,200. After taxes, you're only getting back like $800-900. Then you have to wait, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, my rent is $2,000, and I still got like $600 in bills. You're left with $2,000, and then you gotta wait for your next paycheck at the end of the month, cutting it close, hoping that nothing came up where you have to pay for something, hoping you don't get an injury that you gotta pay for it or whatever. And like I've had times like that. During this pandemic for sure, especially.
Girl, the most I'll say about LA, I see a lot more advocacy for renters' rights over here. Like rent control is really a thing.
Okay.
Knock on my doors, canvassing to give me the time to petition. They really fight for rent control. Like right now, I live in a studio. Like I said, I look at the view of downtown LA. I go walk to the train. I'm looking at the bus right now. The equivalency of where I live is like someone who lives on like the Upper East Side, Upper West Side, and I have a full studio with a full kitchen, full bathroom, and I pay $1,100. And my rent has only gone up like $25-50 in the 2 years that I've been here because of the rent control laws in California that we're going to try to strengthen.
Ooh. Let me ask you though. So now in California, when you got to renew your lease, do they give you the option of 2-year or is it only 1-year lease?
It depends on where you live. I think they do give you the option of 2-year lease. I've been here, girl, I've been here 3 years. They haven't asked me nothing. I have not renewed my lease since I've been here. So I can move at any time. Like my building is so, like I live a little in the hood and my building is also.
Ain't no shame in that. I'm smack in the hood.
Like I pay pay my rent every month on time. Everybody over here that's like my next door neighbors, people have been moving in and out. I've had so many people that have lived in this apartment next to me. So I think I'm one of the people who have been here the longest.
Wow.
In this section, and for the most part, I pay my rent on time. He does not bother me. I have not renewed my lease.
Oh, that's good. See,
so like actually, I'm like, girl, honestly, I forgot about that whole lease thing because I have not.
Yeah, because right before the pandemic, what happened here? Because I had to renew my lease in December. So when I first got my apartment, this little old me getting my first apartment with my name on it. I'm all excited, whatever. When I first got it, I did a 2-year lease. 2 years was up in December. I had to renew my lease. They sent me the package, and I'm reading the first page, and it's like, due to the New York City law, they just changed it back in like December or November, that basically landlords or like the building owners, they don't have to 2-year leases. Forget about it. Now everybody's only getting 1 year. Only 1 year, so every year they're raising it up.
Sure. I was living in a 1-bedroom, super spacious 1-bedroom. It basically was like a 1.5 bedroom. They gave me like hallway section that we could have put a bed in and made like a little.
Wow.
But I was all the way in Pelham Bay, girl. That shit used to piss me off.
That's far.
Go to the last up on the 6th Street, but I was paying $1,200 for that apartment. I know for a Fendi fact that apartment is not still $1,200. I know.
No.
They raised the rent on that. I'm sure that they're at least asking for
like 23.
$1,500.
Yeah, because up there now, Pelham is all different now. Like, it's all, like, everything is luxury, like the condos. A lot of the buildings are co-ops and stuff.
I moved there in 2014. That was the affordable. Remember, that was when we got pushed out of Harlem for gentrification. And that was the affordable part of the Bronx that you could live in, was in Pelham Bay, and still live in a nice quality part.
Yeah.
And you know for a fact you can't get that no more. And it's like,
no.
Here, you could still find something. It is expensive. It's just for anybody coming to LA that's from New York, it's nothing we're not used to.
Right.
I just feel like you get more bang for your buck. Like I said, for my location, for what I'm getting, and for what I'm paying the same in rent, probably even a little less than my friend who got a studio by Yankee Stadium.
Oh, yeah. No, by Yankee Stadium, forget it.
More in rent than I do. And I'm looking at a view of a skyline of skyscrapers and shit, and he don't even see Yankee Stadium. He's down the block, but he's by Yankee Stadium. So I don't know, but I'm gonna put a little rant on that because Uber and Lyft it actually goes into now the rants of the week. I want to just go into the rant of the week because we done already skip that irrelevant news. We'll talk about it. But yeah, so let's go into our rant of the week. I'll go first, and then I'll let you go.
Okay.
I'll share my screen to go into what I'm trying to say. I just want to show some pictures. Here's my rant of the week. And as you can see, we are two New York-ass New Yorkers. And I live in LA now, but I'm still very much a New Yorker, but I live in LA, which is another big city. And New York is a big city. And
yeah.
We had a family member come visit me from Houston over here in LA. And girl, she was trying to turn up. And granted, I didn't know the state of everything being closed out here.
Right.
So, again, like we were talking about earlier, I'm not out here trying to be a part of the mix like that anyway. So I really didn't know what was open and what wasn't open, because if I'm not in the house, I might pay for myself a Lyft to take me an hour away to Laguna Beach, so I can sit my sexy black ass on the beach by myself. But I'm not out here trying to go to the club. I'm not trying to go to the hookah bars. I don't even smoke hookah. I only smoke hookah.
Right.
And my sister came here with a group of her friends, all from Houston, and they were trying to turn up. You want to know why they trying to turn up? Because they can where they at. middle America, and you're enjoying the fruits of y'all not following guidelines.
Right.
Your ass there. Do not expect to come to a city like Los Angeles or New York City, coming to turn up like, oh, what's open? Oh, let's go do this. Ain't shit
open. Girl, nothing's open.
In big cities, this is Hollywood Boulevard. We live in big cities that are following the guidelines. Girl, everything was closed. And if it was open, you could just sit down and have a drink and some food. And
yep. That's it.
And to also see that they were making sure that a good portion of businesses were staying closed, like the hookah bars closed. One hookah bar that was open was trying to charge us $100 a head. I'm sure because they knew they were the only one open. So they were like, oh, let's just milk it. For all of that, because I felt bad, I was trying to show her a good time, but also at the same time, I realized her and I have different definitions of a good time.
Right.
Like, oh, let's go to the beach or let's go do this, which is more nature-like, more open, and
it's free.
And stuff, but at the same time, there's an age difference. She is younger than me. Girl, I'm done with the club. I'm not done with the club. I go to the club, but I definitely go to the club when the shit is open. And
right.
Pandemic, like I don't feel comfortable right now. Like I'm not trying to be at nobody's club, but they were coming out here wanting to do more of the nightlife scene. And what I can say is if you are thinking about visiting a city like New York City or Los Angeles to experience the nightlife, now is not the time.
No, the time is next year, because I mean everybody out here in New York too, like none of us even did anything this summer. Like the most that you see is like people from New York. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the people in New York, they've been bugging out and they've been doing a lot of traveling. I've been seeing a lot of pictures in Mexico, Antigua, all of this on my feed, and I'm just like, girl, get back home.
Vegas is open. Florida, you see Florida, don't give a fuck. Go to Florida. But there is things like New York and LA, and you want to know why? Because this is where the money is. They can't risk it. They can't afford to risk it. They're following the guidelines. I'm not really that mad. I'm really not. Because again, it's like one summer that we have to sacrifice. I posted something recently. You see Bill Gates, who predicted this whole shit. He's saying that this shit will be done. So we got a shitty ass year. And if you are young and you're trying to turn up and all of that, there are places you can go to turn up. New York and LA are just not.
No, definitely not. I mean, like out here, the most that we have is like the outdoor dining. I mean, they tried it on Steinway. I don't know if you saw that. The Steinway was all crazy. Steinway was a zoo. They shut that down expeditiously, like within 48 hours. All the hot spots, and it's funny because it was the spots that I used to love going to, and I had to laugh about it because I'm just like, damn, I miss going to like Melodies or whatever. The most ratchet spots is little 1-star places, but like they were fun. They were really fun.
I'm missing New York, but that's the only reason I know I would be good.
Yeah.
And I don't need to go out anywhere because I could just go to my friend's house. I could be like, oh girl, this little vibe going, whatever.
Right.
And even now, you see what they're doing in LA. If they find out you're having a party, they shut that shit.
They're shutting it down. I heard they're even cutting out the power too.
Yeah, they cut off your power so everybody can go home.
That's crazy. Like
these things this shit is spreading. In Houston, my sister's coworker, God rest her soul, she passed away.
No.
She got COVID, allowing her 18-year-old son to go to a party.
Wow.
And she was taking care of him, but she was doing everything she needed to do. She was wearing a mask, she would wash her hands, all of that, sanitize herself when she left. And still caught it, and she had a pre-existing condition, and she died. The shit is real. Like, I don't know why people in because they don't know anybody that's dying, maybe because, you're
right. I mean, like thank God, like in my family, we didn't really lose anybody, but I did have one uncle who in the beginning of the pandemic, like, girl, when I tell you I never in my life thought that I would live through something like that here in New York City. Cause yeah, we were supposed to be in lockdown for, you know, for a long time. But after a while, at least I lived by myself in my studio. So I was just going like crazy in my house. I'm like, I need to go take a walk. For what was that? Because you'd walk, and then you see the trucks. And you saw the trucks, the refrigerated trucks, and you just watch these people just like push white covered bodies over. I'm just like, oh my God, like this is crazy. This is not normal.
I'm from New York, so I just knew a lot of people that were affected. Like nobody in my direct family died from it, but like, you know, like I know a friend who lost parents, have friends who lost parents, and my mother-in-law, her next door neighbor, she had just saw him coming in with his groceries. Then like 3 days later, she said they were taking him out in like one of those yellow caution bags with the sock, like a yes, girl, that shit was scary. She didn't even leave her house. Yeah. She lives in City Island, is where they got money. Not even like
yeah, it was crazy. I mean, my uncle got really sick in the beginning, so and he lives near Elmhurst.
The thing I wanted to say before we get off of it, that's the thing. Yeah, so we're young. They're saying that we have we're surviving, stronger chances of surviving. The thing is, I don't even want to get the shit.
Right, I don't want to get it the first time. Like,
the shortness of breath. Yes, you saw what I was just doing. I can't afford to be having no shortness of breath, and I'm out here getting high as a kite. And it just doesn't sound fun to have like the one chick I was watching an interview on Diva Sonero. She was saying she had to breathe like this. Okay. That shit just doesn't fine. So as long as I can prevent it, I will. And until they get it under control. So at the end of the day, my rant of the week is just don't come to the big cities.
Don't do it. It's not worth it.
Following the guidelines. That's that. Did you have a rant?
No, I think mine would just continue on with yours. Like, just don't come to the city expecting to look for stuff. Because I'm not going to lie, I do see a lot of out-of-towners, especially here now, because it's so empty. There's a lot of people who want to come and take pictures. Like, yeah, you could come take your pictures and stuff, but don't stop me in the street and ask me, what's going on tonight? Nothing is going on tonight. Like, I don't know where you want to go. Like, once the sun comes down, you should go home. Because for some reason, New Yorkers, like a lot of New Yorkers forget that we were the epicenter of the pandemic. And I think that they feel like when the sun goes down, the virus dies too, because nighttime.
You're saying that it doesn't like the sun, you know, and that's even why a lot of things start to close in the evenings, and the day you can eat out.
They close it early. Girl, everything is closing at like 7, 8 o'clock. There's nothing, the 24-hour delis, there's no such thing anymore. Like, they're closing at 8 o'clock, unless it's like, unless they have like super special something licenses or whatever. Because there's a few out there that you could find, but these are the same ones that they be selling like beer and stuff or whatever. You know, the little ox and stuff. But it's crazy. Like, I mean, look, how like I was going back to Steinway. Like, Steinway, they closed that down crazy. Like, the videos and the images that was going on over there, crazy. And Dykeman, that's another place. Like, they're wilding out there. But like, people forget that, like, yo, this could come back again. And like, you are so worried about, I can't wait till 2020 to be over, 2020 be over. But what we do now is gonna affect 2021. So like, if we still can't get this under control, we might not be able to get control until the end of next year, like Bill Gates said.
For the young people, because again, you know, you're young, you want to be out and about, and I get it. But I would say just do little situations. Like I said, little situations.
Little.
Keep it safe. Like, don't have to go at a club or any of that. You know, because what I do want to know, I would like to hear these rates after, like, when somebody's going to a club or something in Atlanta. Did anybody there catch it afterwards?
Right. Because I'm not gonna lie, I thought that we would have seen like an uptick when the protesting with the George Floyd protests, when that started. I thought we were gonna see an uptick. A lot of people believed that we were gonna see an uptick. Nothing. And I'm like, okay, maybe it is because of the heat, maybe because people are outside, they're building their immune systems. I'm just going on a whole tangent about it, right? And then
Like
now they're just like, okay, there's still some places in New York City where it's like, yeah, like we're seeing more and more, but then there is a lot of other parts that are like, it's nothing. Like if I come out to the neighborhood out here, majority of the people are not even wearing masks. And it kind of scares me though, because I'm just like, am I a doofus? Because I'm out here, everybody looks at me crazy because I'm out here walking around in the sun with my mask on and people don't have their masks on. And I'm like, I didn't get the memo. Like, I didn't get the memo that it's okay. You know what I mean? Like,
but at the same time, like it is hard. It's hard, but it is like summer's coming to a close. Flu season is upon us, so be safe.
I know.
Before we go out of here, we'll just lightly touch on that topic. I want to just so we can on some positivity. What does success look like for the pandemic? And
You got it?
yeah, so what does success look like during a pandemic? I just have some things that I'll lightly touch on.
Okay.
The last segment, you know what I do, which is like posting out with a lot of pray. For y'all, it is a pandemic. You gotta be safe. We are still hiring. But what I would say during this pandemic is keep yourself active in some kind of way. Definitely, I've been seeing this on Twitter, like people like coming to terms with the fact that they got to work out for the rest of their life. I've just now that it is true. You have to work out, and what I'm finding during this pandemic, just the times where I'm working out, I've been doing it every day, and I'm pushing myself sometimes because I don't really feel like it, but it makes me feel better.
Yeah.
The results, because at the start of this pandemic, my stomach was just getting bigger. And my stomach go down because I've been working out every day and at least doing better at eating better. I'm not like vegan or anything, but I just like cut out all the like bullshit. I was like eating Snickers and Twix and shit, so I just like
right.
Excess meat. I still eat meat, but just like not like
not as much. Like
and processed. I thought with like a lot of like processed food. I had to cut that shit out.
Right.
So stay active, but I will also say don't be afraid to meditate and go within. Right now, we're not really getting much from the exterior. You can't
right.
Turn on the TV. You can't really even look at outside or go outside and get that reassurance. Like you were saying, like, oh, you want to go for a walk? Girl, I did that a couple of weeks ago, and like I said, I fucking live over here, and because of like less regulation, the park I would usually go to, that's like the nicer park by me, the homeless people are just all up in the park. So imagine you try to go to the park to get your mind off of your problems, and then you're reminded of like the real problems in the world.
Problem. Yeah.
Hot mess over here. So yeah, that's why I go to Laguna. I take an hour Uber to Laguna Beach to be in a nicer, more high class. Like it keeps me out of that element of thinking about all the stuff going on in the world. And definitely talk to God, because I have been going through my own personal battles this week. Just sometimes it's hard. It's freaking hard. Like you just start to really get down, and then when something bad does happen, because of everything, all this wackiness that's already going on, I will just put the whole weight of everything on my shoulders, and then I'll have a mini breakdown for like an hour. Like I can't. Like I have to step away from everything. I watch like I'm like a YouTube churcher. That's what I call myself. I call myself a millennial churcher because I don't like go to church, but I watch it online. And well, right now you can't really go to church. Even before you could, I was just watching church online. And the one I was watching was Pastor Trey Roberts. He's at One Church LA out here, but the husband of T.D. Jakes' daughter. So I like their sermons. If I'm not watching T.D. Jakes, I'm either watching his daughter or his son-in-law. And he also reminding me of how we're taking in information. We're all on our timeline. And I know me, myself, with even just like being a blogger and a writer and just always keeping to the beat of what's going on or what's trending, or even just going on Twitter and seeing what my friends are doing, that could take me down a wormhole. And if something bad happens, it could just be a trigger. So I have to be more mindful of what I'm taking in. Also, the level at which I'm seeing things. Like, remember, like, all of this stuff is, like, right in front of your face. The phone is, like, right in front of your face.
Yeah.
That's right in front of your face. But spiritual perspective, you got to remain elevated. You got to remain above this world. Really shit. And so that was my takeaway from this past week. I wanted to leave everyone with that. Remember to stay prayed up. What about you?
Pray up. For me, I think, yeah, like, absolutely. Like, during all of this that's been happening, like, I 100% have become more spiritual and just, like, more conscious of, like, the things I do, the things that I say, even, like, a little commentary, like, because I like to joke a lot, but, like, I started to realize a lot of the jokes that I be saying, it's, like, it'll be jabs at myself, and I'm just like, well, that's not good, you know? Like, so, like, I'm learning definitely for sure to just love myself a little bit more than I normally would. Love everyone around you a little bit more, despite them maybe not behaving a way that you're used to, because everybody's like a little bit off, because everybody has their own stresses. Everybody's going through a lot right now, that it's okay to, like, ask for help, and it's okay for, like, if somebody can't help you, that's okay too, you know? Like, don't take it too personal, and just understand that, like, we're all literally in this together, and we're all struggling together. So it's like the best thing that you can do is just pray, woosah, sit for a little bit, get your crystals out, get your Palo Santo, your sage, whatever you got to do, pray it away, and just manifest. Like, that's one thing too, is like the manifestation is real. Like, this pandemic, it shouldn't slow anybody down. If anything, like, you should at least have more time again to yourself, and just get more in tune of, like, your true self, and, like, what you really want to do, where you want to be, and, like, how you want people to love you and, like, look at you, you know, like, not in a superficial way, but more in a way of, like, your personality, like, who's your heart, like, who's in your heart, you know what I mean? Like, that kind of thing.
Shows you the people that really matter. So keep that in mind. And girl, thank you for doing this with me. This was so much fun.
Ayo, thank you for having me. I had fun on this.
Follow you. You guys can follow me at Jeroslyn Diva, JeRoSoyn Diva, and we can follow you. You got 2 different names on 2 different platforms.
Yeah, so you can follow me on Twitter at xbuttercup. And then on Instagram, it's at I might be high, all one sentence, all one word. And yeah, and hopefully we do this again soon.
Yeah.
I have more topics to touch on.
Yes. All right, guys. Bye.